Hello and welcome to MVP Hot Seat with Ibrahim Ababu. Today we're joined by Dr. Kağan Mercan, a leading voice in nuclear education and innovation at Hacettepe University, one of Turkey's premier institutions, as the country enters a historic phase with the imminent launch of Akkuyu Nuclear Power Plant. Turkey is not only investing in infrastructure, but also in its people, developing a skilled workforce capable of operating and advancing its nuclear ambitions. Your insights are particularly vital as Hacettepe University stands at the forefront of educating and inspiring the next generation of nuclear engineers, the very minds who will ensure the success, the safety, and the long-term sustainability of this monumental national endeavor. We are eager to explore how you and your institution are shaping this future. Welcome, Dr. Mercan.
Thank you for your kind invitation, and thank you again for all our viewers.
Thanks to you. It's our pleasure. My first question, what excites you most about Turkey's nuclear energy journey with Akkuyu project? And how is Hacettepe University shaping the next generation of engineers to make it successful?
Maybe some people know, but Turkey has an adventure of 50, 60 years of nuclear industry. And it is something that a dream coming into the life. So it is really exciting, both really exhausting project that we are involving in. Since, of course, Turkey doesn't have any nuclear infrastructure, especially in nuclear power plants, it is really exhausting project to handle from scratch. Of course, we have a great partners, Russia, Rosatom, to establish such collaboration, but creating an infrastructure for both licensing part and the technical part of something huge is really demanding and really taking a lot of effort from both university side and from both regulatory side. Of course, Hacettepe is working in nuclear industry like 40 years, more than 40 years. And since then, we are generating people working in both industry, regulatory parts, and of course, for both international and national projects. And Hacettepe actually taking lots of account on developing this both legislative infrastructure and of course both technical infrastructure. We are creating lots of young students that are really, let me say, a little bit afraid, little bit hesitating students to prepare them such huge projects. And we are also assisting technical support organization and regulatory body to establish working environments, not only for Akkuyu site, but also for the future sites.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And it's great to hear that. And staying in the same subject, how do you inspire young students to pursue nuclear engineering, especially when public fears about nuclear energy, like post Fukushima, as we know, have hurted the nuclear industry, might deter them?
Of course, the fear comes from lack of knowledge. That's the one essential thing. First thing we try to establish is taking young people into how nuclear is evaluated from start to up to nuclear accidents up to today. Of course, we try to show them how, let me say, simple things can lead to catastrophic events and how to be prepared such work conditions. Of course, nuclear industry and nuclear education is really demanding process. People should be aware of many topics that many mechanical engineers or other engineering disciplines does not think of. Therefore, making them learn these things and, let me say, showing them how responsible they should be is actually bringing us inspiration to the students.
Indeed, I totally agree. And also, I believe as Akkuyu would be coming to operation very soon, that give them an additional edge to pick nuclear engineering and to see a bright future for their careers in the nuclear sector. As opposed, as you mentioned, it's been 40 years or even more than 40 years that nuclear has been in Turkey, and but then there were no actual nuclear power plants where those potential students or graduates can work in. So now it's another parameters that could help attract more students. And
Surely.
staying on the same, with Akkuyu first reactor set to go online soon, as we mentioned, what practical skills are you prioritizing to ensure your graduates are job ready for Turkey nuclear industry?
For the Akkuyu, after the Akkuyu project, actually, people, especially for students, are understanding how huge this project is. Mainly, nuclear engineers, of course, focuses on what is going on inside of the core, inside of the nuclear reactor. But when they see the plant, both licensing side and for both building side of the nuclear power plant, they saw that it's a huge project, 50,000 people working on building something that can create lots of course, economical wealth, of course, electricity, and of course, it's a really, let me say, protected area that people should be put in a distant place, regular people, but on another side, regulatory has to be in charge in every aspect of this project. Therefore, we try to establish them how work environment in a nuclear power plant can be and how they should be adapted to work in a both multicultural and multi-language work environment. That's the one issue, especially in Turkey's case. We are working with Russian side. They prepare everything in Russian. It is translated to English. It is translated to Turkish. We translate from Turkish to English. Then it is to the Russian. People working in nuclear power plant can be from Russia, in other countries, or some people working in advisory part can be from abroad. Therefore, they should be adapted to work in such environment. That is the first thing we are trying to give as a practical work environment. They should be aware of in which environment they are going to work, in which cultural group, in which language group they are going to be working, and to be prepared and divert their skills according to their demands.
Totally agree. And not to mention that Turkey is not only planning for Akkuyu, but there is two other nuclear power plants that are in the pipeline, I would say, and that could be with other than Russian. So it would add another layer or another language, maybe Chinese, maybe Korean, to the equation.
Surely.
Yes, yes, and also. So my next question, what's one bold change you'd like to see in Turkey nuclear education to rival global leaders such as France, South Korea?
It is parallel to what I said before. I strongly suggest our government and our regulatory body to support nuclear students to work in abroad, work in international collaborative projects. That should be a must for a student to work in such projects, because when you deal with people from different cultures, different, let me say, écoles, it is in French like different education, you can understand what can be different from different perspective, from different approaches. And it makes everything easy, you see. And they can think differently, they can find counterparts that can help them to grow up both in their work, both in their life. Therefore, the one thing that I put first can be forcing maybe them to work in international waters.
Indeed, they need to get out from their comfort zone and to be open to other cultures. So then when they would work with other nationalities, they would have an open mind and resolve problems easier that way. So my last question, how is Hacettepe collaborating with industry players like Rosatom or regulatory bodies to give students a real-world edge in nuclear engineering?
Of course, with Rosatom, we have huge collaboration. We are taking people both in, let me say, building site of the Akkuyu, and we are taking them to lectures from Rosatom to establish how global partners can work on different countries, as well as I said, how a nuclear power plant project can be huge and demanding for different aspects. For the regulatory part, we occasionally take, let me say, we have lots of meetings with them to share ideas and support them as much as possible for the technicality part, and try to, let me say, translate what Rosatom or other partners wants to try to a licensee, because licensee parts looks from bureaucratic part of the work, but these partners mostly try to focus on first the technicality part, and someone needs to translate this to both partners. Therefore, Hacettepe is involving in such a work area.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mercan. As Turkey prepared to switch on its first nuclear reactor, as we mentioned, Akkuyu, it's clear that the success of the project will rest not only on engineering and technology, but on education, public engagement, and leadership. Dr. Mercan's insights remind us that universities are more than talent pipeline. They are engines of trust, innovation, and resilience in the face of energy and environment challenges. We commend your effort in making Turkey a formidable player on the global nuclear stage through academic excellence. Thank you very much, Dr. Mercan.
I thank you so much for your time and for your great efforts.
It was a pleasure.